story which comes from a place not too far from where I live now, Castleton in Derbyshire. And it involves a man called Nicholas, and he's a butcher. Nicholas keeps sheep on the hills round Castleton and takes them down into the village a couple of times a week, where he will kill a few and sell them to people in the village. Now, being a natural businessman, Nicholas moves away to Mottram to follow where the money is. He still keeps his sheep in Castleton and uses the driving road on to Manchester to move his sheep. Along the way, he'll sell them to people in different villages. And often, being thirsty work, would reward himself at the Old Bull's Head on the way down into Mottram. It was on one particular day that he was in there, he noticed that their ale pots seemed slightly smaller and lighter to the grasp. This annoyed him. He didn't, obviously. It annoyed him. He didn't feel like he should have to work so hard all day only to be ripped off at the end of it. It was on one particular dark, dirty winter's day. As he was coming down into Mottram, he'd had a very successful day. The only thing he had left was a ram. A big, black ram. Long, dark face. Thick, wiry wool. Huge horns and bright, yellow eyes. Nicholas had been struggling to control it. For a good 3 hours, he'd had it tied by the horns, and as they bounced from wall to wall down the driving road, down into Mottram, Nicholas saw the pub and had a cunning idea. Looking at the ram, looking at the pub, and back to the ram, with a bit of gentle encouragement, took it down the side of the pub, round to the back door. Slowly clicking the door open and sneaking down the corridor, still tracking the ram behind him, and opening the door to the cellar, lets the ram go. Shutting the door, and quietly as he'd entered, left the pub and makes his way down, back round the front of the pub and enters the bar, taking up position next to the parish clerk. He orders a pint. The landlady says, of course, grabs the jug and a candle and heads off to the cellar. Nicholas watches eagerly to see what happens as he watches the landlady go down the corridor and take the first steps down to the cellar. Peering in to the cellar with her candle, she quickly sees the flickering shadow of the large horned beast against the wall. Quickly, she bolts back into the bar. There's something in the cellar! The devil's in our cellar! Immediately, the parish clerk, he's really scared, and he bolts out the door, gone to fetch the vicar. No, the landlord isn't having any of it. Love, you're just being stupid. Give me the jug, I'll go and get his beer. Now, the candle's still down there, and by the time he gets down there, he sees a long, dark face. Huge horns, gnarling teeth, and bright yellow eyes peering over the top of the beer barrels. Instantly, convinced by what his wife has told him, he bolts back into the bar just as the vicar and the clerk arrive. The devil's in our cellar! Immediately the vicar says, we must rid this beast from Mottram. We must drive the devil out of Mottram. So, all four of them, the landlord, landlady, the vicar, and the parish clerk, all set off down the corridor, making their way to the cellar, slowly taking a step at a time, all a bit nervous, apprehensive. After all, they are going to come face to face with the devil. Quite a scary thing to be happening. So, And of course, the ram, he's not very happy at this point. He's getting a bit scared as well, because he's got 4 people approaching him. He's in a dark place, and he's confined. He gets really scared. He bucks, he jumps over the barrels, knocking all 4 of them down, and bolts up the stairs and out the back of the pub. Now Nicholas, at this point, is feeling rather smug. He's seen what's happened, and he sees, as they, all flustered, come back up the stairs, pale, sheet white. Nicholas thinks his work's just about done. Stands up and leaves the pub in search of his ram. Now, Nicholas still barely drank in there, but he could always be sure of a good pint whenever he did.